How we got here. Oh, I'm looking forward to this today because the neighborhood that we're going to be talking about for today's How We Got Here is a neighborhood that I used to live in only for 1 year, but I'm very familiar with that neighborhood, or at least I used to be. And it's Gwanghwamun.
That's right, the Gwanghwamun area. I'm sure in that 1 year you were there, you saw a lot because I mean that's where a lot of stuff happens, right?
Yep, the palaces are right there downtown. If you're not familiar, it's in a I don't know how to define Seoul's downtown. It seems like there's many
It's
different...
pretty sprawling.
Right?
Yeah, it really is.
But Gwanghwamun is one of those areas. The palaces are there. The Gwanghwamun Plaza is there. The Sejong Art Center is there. There's lots of restaurants. The stream, the Cheonggye stream is pretty close. City Hall is right there.
That's right.
Jongro neighborhood is right next door. So it's one of the busier neighborhoods in Seoul.
It really is. And of course, Gyeongbokgung Palace. I mean, that's a huge tourist spot. And Gwanghwamun Gate is the massive gate that protects it. Now, that's undergoing a pretty large restoration right now. That whole square, that whole plaza is undergoing. It's supposed to be done by now, but I guess because of COVID and all these other things, it's maybe delayed a little bit. I actually haven't been out in that area, but it's supposed to be super, super cool, walkable, and Instagrammable.
Okay.
Once it's all done.
So basically what they did, because correct me if I'm wrong, but many, many years ago, the Gwanghwamun Main Street used to be it used to just be all traffic, right? And then a few years ago, I don't remember the year, they decided to build this plaza smack dab in the middle of it. And it took up probably 4 lanes of traffic.
Something like that.
Right in the middle of it. So it divided the traffic on the left and the right, and then you had a walkable plaza in the middle.
That's right. Now, I'm going to tell you more about what they're going to do towards the end of this segment, but before we get into that, I want to tell you a bit of the history of it. I mean, it's basically an ever-changing area. A city like Seoul is going to be constantly changing. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Oh, constant construction, that's for sure.
Yeah, but that area, most definitely. Now, this gate has been under redesign, reconstruction, and repair since it was born in 1395.
Wow.
It's a long time ago, right?
Yeah, it's a minute.
Yeah, you're saying. So let me get into this, and I'll do a quick kind of a rundown of the history before we talk, because there's quite a lot of it. First of all, Gwanghwamun Gate is really important. It's the entrance to Gyeongbokgung Palace, the main royal palace of the Joseon Dynasty.
Right.
We've got to pay attention to this for the quiz later.
Okay.
It's the biggest of the 5 grand palaces, and they're all in the area. That includes Changdeokgung, Changgyeonggung, Deoksugung, and Gyeonggigung. And, when you look at Gwanghwamun Gate from that plaza and you face north, it's pretty cinematic. You got Bugaksan, or the Bugak Mountains, right behind that gate. You got Ingwansan, what's the other one? Naksan as well. So it's surrounded by mountains. So it's very picturesque and totally prime for walking, So, and of course, right in the middle of that, we got the Blue House.
Yes,
where the president
exactly.
lives and does all the work. So it's a multi-purpose area with all sorts of business as well as government offices. And that massive gate, Gwanghwamun Gate, stands in front of it all. So, like I said, it was born in 1395 as the main gate to Gyeongbokgung Palace. And it was a wooden gate, as most things were back in those days, right?
Sure.
And for 200 years, it was happy. Nobody messed with it. It stood. And then suddenly in 1592, big year, the Japanese invasion, it was completely destroyed. And for 250 years, it was just in ruins, right? So this once mighty gate was nothing. Then suddenly in 1867, there was a massive reconstruction effort by Emperor Gojong. Pretty famous. There was this guy who's a regent, Taewon-gun, who's pretty famous for spurring this whole thing on. Right?
Okay.
So they did that, and about 60 years later, in 1926, the Japanese government had it deconstructed, moved to make way for a government building. So it moved from its original location to somewhere else. And this was kind of like insult to injury, right, to a lot of the Koreans at the time. It's a historic building and a meaningful gate now being forced to move for government offices of the Japanese. Now, the 50s, the Korean War comes, and that gate is completely destroyed, all right, until the late 60s when they decided to kind of reconstruct it. This time in concrete.
Okay.
So you get the point. It's like, oh,
We're not going to build a wooden gate anymore. Yeah.
It's not coming down again, buddy. But problem is, it wasn't as it was originally, and they didn't move it back to its original spot.
Oh, it was in a different spot. Okay.
Yeah, so it was in the spot that the Japanese government put it. So here comes 2006. And suddenly they go, we're going to do it right this time. Spend 4 years removing that gate to where it belongs, making it out of wood, out of local or sourced wood.
Yep.
And we're going to do all the design and everything else exactly as it was, or as close to possible as it was. So that's where we are right now.
Okay.
So that whole thing was finished in 2010.
Okay, so that's what's currently standing there now as we speak.
Yeah, so when you were living there, it probably would have just been a kind of a brand new thing.
Yeah, right. So what's the plan then for the Gwanghwamun area now?
As a result of all this restoration that I just told you about, the current standing of it, since it's become such a huge tourist spot, I mean, you see people in the hanbok, the Korean traditional dresses, taking pictures all the time, right?
Absolutely.
Like you mentioned earlier, it's a great place for families to go to. Couples go there on walking dates, and single middle-aged dudes walk around by themselves admiring the gate. They're going to make it more walkable. I told you before that there's a restoration project undergoing. So if you can imagine this whole area, the Gwanghwamun area, you have that big boulevard that runs north and south that you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
And the massive wide median in the center where Admiral Yi Sun-shin, the statue, and
Yes.
King Sejong is. So that whole walking area is going to be extended towards the west side, towards the steps of the Sejong Center.
Okay.
So it's going to be all pedestrian.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so they're going to, okay, so as it stands right now, that plaza, again, and that's the plaza that was constructed a few years ago, many years ago now,
Yeah.
that broke up the traffic. So now there's traffic on the left, traffic on the right, traffic on the top, and traffic on the bottom, because you have your north-south running roads and then your east-west running roads as well. So it's kind of, the plaza itself is kind of unto its own.
And it's been made fun of by residents for a long time. They said it's the world's widest median. Like, why is it there?
Yeah,
You know, like it doesn't serve a purpose.
I kind of get it.
Yeah, So basically, what's going to happen is all the car traffic is going to be limited to the right side, to the east side, right in front of the U.S. Embassy.
Okay.
So they're going to make. There's supposedly 3 or 4 lanes going north and south, so it's going to be pretty wide. But we're going to have uninterrupted walkability from that median as it is right now, all the way to the Sejong Center side.
Okay.
So that's going to be much nicer for business people who work there, residents, and tourists just to kind of hang out.
Yeah, because it's going to make just a lot more comfortable space for people. Because now, as it stands, if you want to get into the plaza itself, you have to go to a crosswalk and cross traffic.
Yep.
Right? But after this is over, you won't have to do that at all.
No, theoretically, you can walk right out of Gwanghwamun station if you take the subway, and boom, you're just walking and relaxing.
Right into there.
Yeah.
And they're going to widen the traffic on the right side. So it's because if they don't,
It's going to be mayhem.
That's what I was worried about.
Right. I mean, it's already bad. Gwanghwamun is known for its terrible traffic, but if they didn't widen those lanes on one side, it would make it all the worse. But that's the plan by the sounds of things.
Yeah, so it's kind of great. I mean, this whole gate, Gwanghwamun Gate, has just been under constant redesign and reconstruction, as I mentioned. And now, hopefully, this is kind of like the fruition of all of that work, where people can walk and enjoy, that area.
Yeah. I wonder what they'll have planned for there. Like when I used to live there, I remember on the odd Sunday afternoon, they might have like a little farmer's market type thing. But again, it was on the plaza itself. I never saw performers there, any buskers or that type of thing.
No, I saw performances out there.
Did you really?
Yeah. So they do it, but now if they do it, it's going to be a lot safer and more enjoyable for pedestrians.
And and instead of being isolated in the midst of all that traffic, because it did, I mean, and I'll be honest, when I lived there, I didn't really hang out there too much. There were a lot of people there on the weekends because there's a little water fountain that shoots up out of the ground so kids can have fun playing. But it didn't feel that safe and it didn't feel that cool because you had traffic rushing by on all 4 sides, right?
Yeah.
Now, if they close it off, And then it's going to make it feel like more of a little park, if that makes sense.
I think that's one of the general ideas, and to plant more trees so it's a little more green. And it's kind of fitting because it's, it was the main royal palace of the Joseon dynasty. So it's hopefully going to have a bit more meaning again.
I would like to see them, and obviously this is just an idea, but if they built some sort of walking bridge from the Gwanghwamun Plaza that went to the Cheonggye stream somehow, like up and over the traffic. I'm not even sure if that's feasible, but I'm thinking of what they did around Seoul
The
Station.
Solo area.
Yeah, where they made that little overpass walking area with all these little plants and trees and things like that. Maybe they could do something like that and then extend the walking path even further.
Are you suggesting that to somebody possibly listening right now from the Seoul metropolitan government?
Just an idea off the top of my head. Because I think what they're trying to do is really cool. And they did this with the Cheonggye stream. And it is one of the things that makes Seoul so cool is that you have the old mixed with the new. But not only that, you have the walkable mixed in with the almost unwalkable, if you will. Like that Cheonggye area, that stream where you walk down into the area next to the stream and you can walk for 5, 6, 7 kilometers or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really cool thing because you look up and you're surrounded by skyscrapers, office buildings.
Yeah.
But you can do that right in the middle of a downtown, one of the biggest cities in the world.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to extend that to the Gwanghwamun Plaza so that office workers have a place to go and relax for lunch and stuff,
Very cool. Very cool. I love it.
Interesting.
Any idea when it's going to be finished?
Well, no.
2045.
I mean, it might be nearing completion. I mean,
that would be even better.
Yeah, when the new mayor took office, it was already like 35% done.
great.
So who knows? I mean, the way we get things done here, it might already be finished.
That's true.
I don't know.
Thanks for that, John. Please stay tuned. 100 years of wisdom. That jingle feels so long.
I love it though.
I feel like we waited 100 years.
It feels like an episode of a sitcom or something. 100 years of wisdom time. Kate, we talk gates.
Yes, we do. The 8 gates of Seoul. So for those of you who might not know, there are a total of 8 gates of Seoul. They are historical gates that were built roughly around the Joseon dynasty. 6 of these gates exist today. There are 4 main gates and then 4 like auxiliary gates. I said like smaller gates. So the 4 main gates are called like the Sa-Daemun, and then the smaller gates are like the Sa-Somun.
Oh, that's fun. That's a fun fact. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now, mini quiz before we get into the actual bigger quiz. It's all named like moon, right? Which means gate. Now, the Hanja or the Chinese character that means moon, do you know what is the shape of that character?
I would guess.
Shape of the Hanja?
I don't know, but I would guess it would be like a 3-sided square or a 3-sided rectangle.
Yeah,
Kinda
which is
reminiscent of
in
a
the
gate.
shape
Yeah.
of... Yeah, exactly. It's
Oh,
like
really?
a 2-door gate that you open through. That's supposed to be the shape where it's originated from.
Because with Chinese symbols or the Hancha, the symbols they were designed to represent what things look like.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of a little fun
Oh, that
factoid.
is fun.
So here goes my first question. There is one gate at the east main gate of the wall that translates to meaning Rising Benevolence Gate. And like many of the gates, it had to be rebuilt. It was rebuilt in 1896. But what is most interesting about this gate is the exterior wall, which is called the Ongsong. So around this gate, there is an exterior wall called the Ongsong. It surrounds it. And while most gates were built on higher ground, this gate is set on the low ground. That's why it had this Ongsong for extra protection.
Oh, interesting.
that's why.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, there's a ton to do around this gate. It's the national treasure number 1. And there's a lot of famous markets around this gate. Can you guess which gate I am talking about?
Can you give me some of the markets around that gate?
I think that'll give it away.
I'm okay with that.
Only because you said
Yeah.
there's markets around there. I'm gonna guess that it would be Dongdaemun.
Oh, good guess. Good guess.
But there is something just in the now Dongdaemun, the area of the city, is a major shopping area. It's very, very popular with tourists. There's what's the name of the art center? Not art center, but exhibition center that's right there. It looks like a spaceship.
Oh, yeah. That's
the DDP.
The DDP.
Yeah. That's there. But then there's some sort of like grassy area with a wall. So I was thinking maybe that might be the answer.
What do you say, John?
I'm probably going to go with the same thing because that's the whole shopping and markets.
See, I knew that was going to give it away. You guys are right. It is Dongdaemun. Do you guys know which gu Dongdaemun is located at?
It's Jongno-gu, isn't it?
Oh, man, I thought you guys wouldn't fall for it. I thought, because some people think it's in Dongdaemun-gu,
Right.
but it's
right.
actually in Cheongno-gu.
Well, Jongno-gu is huge itself, right?
Mind you, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah. Isn't that kind of a fun factoid?
Nice. I like it. I don't go to that neighborhood that often. though. I think to be honest with you, the Dongdaemun area, I think I've been there maybe fewer than 5 times.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't go that often. Kind of because it's the same reasoning that I haven't been to Daehangno that often.
Oh,
it's
I
like if
see.
you to get there,
If you are at one, you'll be at the other.
No, exactly. They're right next to each other, kind of. But yeah, it's kind of a place that people go for shopping and touristy stuff. That could be why I don't go that often either. But fun little fact about Dongdaemun, that's where the night markets are, right?
Yeah.
So they open up around, what, midnight or something?
Yeah, one of my trips to Korea back in 1999, a friend of mine took us there at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, right.
And we saw b-boys dancing on a stage, and I was like, I have to live here someday.
The shopping towers.
It was
are there.
incredible, yeah.
It's pretty cool. All right, let's get back to our gate quiz.
All right. I started off really easy.
Oh,
and
no.
so I'm going to go a little bit more challenging.
Okay.
Hold on a second, I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, now here's the second quiz. Now, the Northwest Gate is one of the smaller ones. It's called Changil-mun, and it sits between Inwangsan Mountain and Baegak Mountains, okay? Now, the meaning, showing the correct thing gate, this is the only auxiliary gate that still has the tower intact and survived until present day. It's the oldest gatehouse of the smaller gates. Now, there's something interesting about this gate because an animal sits on top of the gate, but it's kind of like drawn on top of the gate. And this animal was drawn on the gate because the road that led from Inwangsan Mountain down to the village resembled the shape of a centipede, and people believed that the poisonous chi or the poisonous energy of the centipede might enter to the village through the gates. And so they drew this animal on top of the gate, which is known to be the nemesis of the centipede and would prevent all that bad energy from coming in.
Oh, really interesting.
So it's a picture of a can of bug spray.
That's a good guess. What animal is this?
Well,
Sheesh.
I'm thinking snakes like to eat those things. I'm thinking like
Interesting.
birds might like the magpie. Is that the bird that we see flying around? The blue
That's a magpie.
that's a
yeah.
magpie.
Those really loud guys.
The long tail.
Yeah.
We see them
Oh, like the
around.
chebi, the magpies.
Yeah, I'm thinking they might eat centipedes as well. And this is not in the mountainous regions, right?
No, well, it's like the road that
At the
leads
foot of the
down.
mountain?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
from the mountain to the gate.
Because I'm thinking like maybe mountain snakes.
So we're talking about actual animals here, right?
Yes.
A real, not a spiritual animal or a mythical animal.
No.
Okay.
I'll say snake.
I'm just gonna go out there and say something ridiculous because that's just who I am. I'm gonna say toki.
Rabbits
Toki,
don't,
rabbits.
Toki.
rabbits don't eat centipedes, do
Dude,
they?
have you seen these like carnivorous rabbits?
Do I want to see these carnivorous rabbits?
I don't know. Am I telling the truth or am I lying again? I don't know.
Okay, are you guys ready for the answer?
No.
Okay, so 0230 guesses chicken 아닌가요? One scat said chicken. I guess snake. John said the carnivorous rabbit. Keep your eyes peeled for that. 2 people guessed chicken, though. I'm guessing it must be chicken, yeah?
You are correct.
Wow.
It is the chicken.
Well
it's the
done.
tak.
chickens eat centipedes. That I did not know.
Yeah, they eat worms. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's like the drawing in itself looks a little bit more mystical. So some people believed it might have been like a phoenix or something, but I think the village people are like, no, it's actually like a rooster.
Oh, wow, cool.
That would prevent the centipede's energy from entering the village.
And that's kind of fun. And the reason was because the road that leads into the village was shaped like a centipede.
Yep.
That's fun.
Yeah.
All right. Third question.
All right. Another lesser known auxiliary gate called Gwanghwamun actually has a lot of nicknames because of the usage that it was providing. It's kind of a little bit of a dark history, but they also called it 수구문, which means like the gate where the water flows under, or 시구문, where the gate where bodies pass through, or 통공문, which means that a procession of mourners go through this gate. So there's a lot of things that this gate was nicknamed. And as you can see, it's a bit dark, but there's an interesting factoid about it. They believe that because of these things, and no bad energy can go through this gate because over the years of all this mourning and crying, it's kind of built a resilience and there's that energy around that gate. So what is something that people did on this gate?
What
Or
is
based off of this gate?
something that people did?
Yeah, for medicine.
For medicine.
Yeah. Or what they believe to be like an all-heal kind of ailment type of thing.
Well, if memory serves, when my mother got sick, and this was in California, mind you, she went to kind of a hanyak place in
Yeah.
California, and she rubbed a bunch of, I don't know, moose horns and fly wings and made a tea out of it, which prompted my father to say, kids, let's get out of here. So I'm going to guess make a herbal medicine on top.
Herbal medicine on top of the gate. Okay, so you're saying like there's different kinds of grass that grows in the thing that...
Like-
Kate, if you're winking and saying that's the answer, then that's exactly what I'm saying.
All right, I'll take that answer.
So the question is, what did people use from the area? Like they made this medicine at the gate, or they took this medicine at the gate?
It is from the gate.
Okay. I'm going to guess you mentioned that these gates were made out of wood. So I'm going to guess it's some sort of tea that they would take like from a splinter of wood from the gate or something like that.
That's all very good guesses.
Okay. So from this gate, what did people from the community do to get some medicinal benefits?
Okay.
Ping Suapa says a rainbow.
That's a good guess. Rainbow definitely feels healing vibes.
But not correct.
No, it's not correct.
Peng Suapa also got the TBS gift today. Glad you're enjoying
Woo!
that. Yeah, very nice. I guessed, some splinters from the wood from the gate or something
Okay,
like that.
and then John guessed the herbal.
I'm going to say some sort of herbal, kind of a hanyak sort of a thing.
Oh, and same goes for 0230 who said that they believe that some kind of herbal grass that grew near the gate
like
would
the
have
earth,
served.
something from the earth there or
Look,
something.
how about if we all win and it's an herbal thing and the gate's made out of herbs?
Wood. Actually, the gate is made out of stone.
Ooh.
And what they would do is they would use some of the pebbles, grind it up, and drink it. And they believed it was a cure-all medicine.
Oh, wow.
Hey, so guess what?
Yeah?
We all are correct in some way.
One way or another.
Wait, so you grind up stone?
They called it 수구문 돌가루. And they
oh,
thought
man,
it was a
돌가루.
medicine.
That can't be good for your belly, can it?
No, I don't think so. So it's very superstitious reasons why they believed in that.
All right, let's...